Illinois Public Media News, this is 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. It's Thursday, November 14th. Coming up, we'll learn what residents in the central part of the state think will happen next with former President Donald Trump heading back to the White House. That story in just a few minutes, but first, these headlines. University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Chancellor Robert Jones is stepping down at the end of the academic year. Jones made the announcement in a statement yesterday. The chancellor worked closely with Tim Killeen. He's the president of the university system, which includes the U of I's counterparts in Chicago and Springfield. IPM's Emily Hayes spoke with Killeen about the chancellor's departure.
First, would you tell me a little bit how you're feeling?
He's been my partner, colleague, friend, through a lot of things over the last few years. So everything, goes through transitions in life. And so I'm feeling proud of the accomplishments, of the stability, of the integrity, of the commitment that Robert has brought to bear, of the fundraising, all of those things that are in the press release. And also, very close to him and wanting to keep our connection going, because I think it's been a really important era for the University of Illinois. It's interesting that you asked that question, right? Because you touched my button rather than a professional response. You're getting how I really feel. I feel, happy for him. I feel proud that in what he's accomplished and has represented for the university. A little saddened that it's coming to an end, but also thrilled that we're moving on to a next chapter, building on the momentum that we have. So all of the above, I would say.
What do you think Chancellor Jones' most lasting legacy will be?
I think he brought a sense. He's not going away fast. Obviously, he is that, and I have asked him, and he's agreed in concept to continue working with us through the year after that. But he's brought, I believe, a sense of purpose and a groundedness to our university system, not just UIUC, but the whole system, a sense of ambition and purpose and momentum, and he's represented sort of the land-grant mission really effectively and well. And it's a long tenure. It's been a long tenure.
So what is the timeline and what does the process look like next?
Well, he's announced that his departure from the chancellorship will be at the end of June, at the end of the academic year. It's a good time for that because we will have a lot of opportunities to celebrate and acknowledge accomplishments, and there'll be commencements that he will preside over that are very important. And in the meantime, we will initiate a process to seek and select the successor to Robert as Chancellor of the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and we will go through the processes that are documented on how to go about doing that. It will involve shared governance significantly, and a committee and a process. I think that there will be a lot of interest in academic circles about this position because of the standing of the incumbent, but also because of the stature of the institution. So I'm hugely optimistic that there'll be a lot of interest. That process will unfold, and then we'll go through the transition. Hopefully that will culminate in the right time, so that there is no period when we have to have an interim or anything like that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Emily, for your interest.
That was IPM's Emily Hayes speaking with University of Illinois System President Tim Killeen. Chancellor Jones will continue serving at the university through June of next year. Invasive species are changing the ecosystems in Illinois. Sparrows were introduced to eat caterpillars that were destroying elm trees in the Northeast. But here in central Illinois, they are eating crops and reproducing quickly. Professor Anant Deshwal studies birds at Bradley University. He says sparrows are also killing birds native to Illinois.
They will drive bluebirds, the native birds, out of their nests, or sometimes even kill them, or kill their offsprings.
IPM's Tanisha Spain reports on invasive birds, fish, and plants on our annual State of Change Environmental TV special. You can watch it tonight at 7:30 p.m. on WILL-TV or PBS Passport. A company that builds pipe organs in Champaign will begin building them at a new facility in Rantoul next year. IPM's Jim Meadows has more.
For 35 years, Buzard Organ Builders has been building custom pipe organs in downtown Champaign, like this one at the Chapel of St. John the Divine near the University of Illinois campus. But next year, founder John Paul Buzard says they'll move into a bigger building in Rantoul on the site of the former Chanute Air Force Base. Buzard says that will give him room to add up to 4 new employees to his current staff of 20.
We need more woodworkers because we are now building all of our internal components for the organs, which we used to get from suppliers.
This week, the Rantoul Village Board approved a federally funded loan and grant to help construct the building and to help Buzard purchase new equipment. I'm Jim Meadows, IPM News.
Implicit bias in healthcare settings contributes to inequitable outcomes in maternal health. Researchers at the University of Illinois are exploring whether virtual reality training modules can help doctors be more aware of their biases. IPM student reporter Stephanie Mosqueda explains.
In a pilot study, 30 medical students strapped on virtual headsets and viewed an interaction between a Black female patient and a white male physician. After this first module of training, participants had more positive attitudes toward culturally respectful language, says Sheree Thompson, one of the lead researchers in the project. She says her goal is to
train and help physicians be the best communicators that they want to be, because they tell us, I have empathy, I just don't know what to say or how to put that into practice.
Additional VR modules are under development and will be tested once complete. I'm Stephanie Mosqueda, IPM News.
Still to come, we'll learn what residents in the central part of the state think will happen next with former President Donald Trump heading back to the White House. That story is coming up next on 217 Today, but first, your forecast. For today, a chance of showers this morning, otherwise cloudy with a high near 54 degrees. Northwest wind gusting up to 23 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 43 degrees. Tomorrow, Friday, partly sunny with a high of 55 degrees and calm wind. And tomorrow night, patchy fog after midnight, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low of 41 degrees. And on Saturday, fog in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny with a high of 57 degrees. Southeast wind blowing 5 to 15 miles per hour.
Next time on the 21st show, the dark evenings of fall and winter are upon us, hastened by the recent annual ending of daylight saving time. There are those who want us to permanently fall back, and others who'd have us constantly sprung forward. We'll talk about the science behind DST and the debate on whether to scrap it or keep it year-round. I'm Brian Mackey. That's next time on the 21st show. Join us.
You're listening to 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. Illinois was one of a handful of states that went for Vice President Kamala Harris during last week's election. But residents in the central part of the state have differing visions of what happens next with former President Donald Trump heading back to the White House. IPM's David Pierce has more in our Voice of the Voter series.
Hope was still alive on election night that Kamala Harris will become the country's first female president. Voter Abby Ratner was at the watch party for 13th District Congresswoman Nikki Baczynski. As Trump's electoral lead started to grow, she was already fearing what a second Trump term could look like.
I think the concern and the fear for political violence is very high right now. It's very strong. And the fact that there are so many pockets, even within blue states, that are voting red makes that very scary and a very real fear amongst people everywhere.
Sangamon County is home to Springfield, and voters there backed the former president by a 51 to 46% margin. According to Associated Press data, immigration and the economy were top-of-the-mind issues for Illinois voters. The economy is why Springfield resident Sam Shue says he voted for Trump.
I know the biggest one is energy. He's obviously a big supporter of, bringing in our own oil instead of buying it from other countries. So obviously that would probably be really the main change that I want to see is getting energy costs down. So, because that drives everything. Food prices, home prices, everything.
Days after Harris conceded the election to Trump, Black students gathered at the University of Illinois' Bruce Nesbitt Center. Jada Thompson voted for Harris and says Trump made false promises during the campaign and took credit for progress he didn't make.
When you look into the rhetoric that he was spitting out, into the lies that he was saying, into things that, the economy was better. Yes, it was. But when you look into politics, the economy was better because of the presidential candidate that was before him. And then also the economy is not the best right now, but that's through his presidency and what he was able to do during his time.
Harris reminded voters during her concession speech the responsibilities of a president and U.S. citizens.
Anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
During his victory speech, President-elect Trump reiterated his plans to close the southern border and conduct a mass deportation of undocumented residents.
We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that.
This is concerning for U of I Latino students, including Ray Camas. He was born in the U.S. after his family migrated to America. Camas worries Trump's deportation agenda will not stop with those who crossed the border in recent years.
I don't think he makes that distinction. I don't see anything in his policy platform or the way that he speaks about immigrants that indicates him saying, I'm just going to stop at the most recent ones. He dehumanized the whole immigrant community without making any distinction of who or when they immigrated, or no matter how long they have been here.
The Associated Press reported that Trump announced Tom Homan, who was the former acting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director in his administration for his last term, will be returning for his next one. While at the National Conservatism Conference in Washington earlier this year, Homan is being quoted as saying, "No one's off the table. If you're here illegally, you will be looking over your shoulder." Inauguration Day is Monday, January 20th. David Pierce, IPM News.
That's it for today. 217 Today is produced by Stephanie Mosqueda. Reporting today contributed by Emily Hayes, Reginald Hardwick, Jim Meadows, Stephanie Mosqueda, and David Pierce. Music by the Kilbourne Alley Blues Band. Reginald Hardwick is our news director. I'm Kimberly Schofield. 217 Today is a production of Illinois Public Media. Thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.